Hello everyone, this is Jill from Coco Daisy. It came to my awareness that some of you wanted some little step-by-step or instructions on doing some stamping with Coco Daisy stamps. So I could have stamped right on camera as I made a page, but even though I'm a fairly carefree, messy stamper, I did not do that. So I'm just gonna tell you what I did, walk it through. It's like really simple. And I'm going to start with this page that will be up on the blog probably by the time you see this video. And this is kind of stamping that I've been really attracted to lately, and I guess I would call it layered stamping using different colors. And one thing I wanted to remind you of, you probably already know this, but I think we can all move really quickly from one kit to the next and focus just on that kit. And that makes sense with some products that we just use up, right? But other products, like stamps, are essentially tools. So I find it important to remind myself to go back to earlier stamp sets and use them with later kits. So this is the Up and Away kit that I used. I used the die cuts. I used some paper layering with my photo and the stickers. But what I did for the stamping was pull out various older stamps from Coco Daisy. And these are from all different kits. Since I'm doing a page about art journaling, it made a lot of sense to use the I think it's the January 2019 kit from a while ago that had the stamp Live, Love, Create and certain just kind of art-oriented stamps, kind of artsy stamps. There was another kit that did a little bit later too. I think it was Autumn Whimsy. That doesn't sound right though. At any rate, you're going to find stamps of this sort throughout the different kits. And I actually just pulled them not only from that kit, but from others. Lots of the kits include really pretty little leaf stamps. And I used more than just this one, but this one here is still on the stamp block, so you can see that I did that. And so at any rate, that's you know what your collection includes. And just go through it. Pull them out, mix and match. It's a lot of fun. Okay, and then of course you need a stamp block. I like these little thin ones. Most people like the thicker ones. They're easier to manage, but I use these Tim Holtz grid stamp blocks. And then choose your colors. If you're going to do mixed colors, black and white stamping is great too. I do that a lot. But for this kit, I've really actually liked the orange and the green. And then also there's this dark teal blue. And this blue stamp right here, you can see it's got a little bit of a blue cast to it. It's actually just this gray ink. There happened to be some blue ink left on the stamp. Very typical for me. And so the color's mixed. I kind of actually like the color it created, and it matches the stickers really well. That was completely fortuitous. So a lot of things that I might want to demonstrate or advise, you just have to roll with it and see what happy accidents happen for you. But the ones that are the main colors for me are these Tim Holtz stamps called Distress Oxides. They're great. They're a kind of in between a dye and a pigment ink, and you can create some nice effects with them with water. But they're also just really good for stamping and for layering. And the colors are gorgeous. So you can see by looking at these three colors that they work really well with the particular papers I pulled from the Up and Away kit. And okay, so I guess some principles that I used when I went through. I ended up using this gray rather than black because you might want the effect of a really dramatic contrast. I didn't. I kind of just wanted something that was a bit darker, but not a lot darker. So I used the gray for that. And I just started stamping one stamp and then added these others, a little bit overlapping, not like so much that it obscures the stamp beneath. I think you can kind of see that. And just slightly different shapes, different motifs. I've seen people do this lately with prompt stamps or word stamps too. So you can create kind of a collage of words, a little bit like what I've done with the die cuts, but you could do that with stamps. And I like the leaf here and there because it fits my theme with spring and nature art. And I also like it because it's a very different kind of shape. So keep that in mind too. If you want to, besides some contrast in the colors you're using, if you want a shape that's not round or square like this, but has kind of its own contrasting shape. That's just another thing to keep in mind. There are stamps like this one that creates a little label, and then I wrote inside it, which I liked because I could kind of pick up the handwriting and move it around the page a bit more. So those are things to keep in mind with stamps. Like, are there ways that you can have them interact with your other elements, like stamp? And here's another example of that. There's so many great tags and labels in the kits. You can stamp right on them, of course, and then that's another way to use the stamps to integrate them, to keep them on the page in a way that repeats. I mean, repetition is obviously like a really good design element. So is like the rule of threes. So kind of stamp in a triangle, and then keep a certain, I like to keep a certain amount of consistency in color and stamps used while also adding some difference. And so, for instance, I was using this little tangly thread stamp in yellow. And so to make it different on this side, I had it stand out by doing it in the rust color. See what I mean? That's just me. Some people are much more consistent with repetition. I like repetition with just a little touch here and there of variety too, or difference. Okay, I think that's it for the layered stamp effect. One other thing I wanted to show you really quickly is if you did, maybe start your subscription with this kit and only have the stamps from the kits, here's another layout I made with Up and Away. And particularly if you get both of the memory keeping kits, then you have the all caps stamps and the lowercase. And the way I like to mix those is to take the primary words and make those all caps and use the little ones for the less important words, in this case texting from the store. See how that works? I'm sure some people would like to just create capital letters and otherwise make it lowercase. And so that's the other thing about stamps and stamping. Very versatile. You have this tool now from the kit, and you can continue to use it in different pages with different kits, and you can also always use all of them in different ways. I love stamps. They're very versatile, and as you can see, I use this gray ink. Okay, great. Hope that gives you guys some ideas and a little little instruction on how my stamping worked in a couple of my recent layouts. Catch up with you later.